So the materials you are going to need, you're going to need a sublimation tumbler. I'm going to link everything in my description. You're going to need some infusible transfer paper. This is the one I've got. Don't be alarmed that sometimes the colors don't look as vibrant, but they activate with heat. So once I put it in my tumbler press, it will be activated and the colors will be popping. Okay, so you need some of that, some of this as well, some butcher paper. It really helps to protect the design when you're heat pressing it, well, tumbler pressing it. This was from Amazon. As I mentioned, I will link everything in my description. With the tumbler press as well, you get some gloves, but if you have a tumbler press that doesn't have gloves, I would definitely recommend to get some of these heat proof gloves and some heat resistant tape. So this is heat resistant tape and scissors. So this heat resistant tape is resistant to heat. It's not normal sellotape. You can get it from Amazon. This is a Caesar brand, I believe. These sublimation tumblers are from PYD. I got them from Amazon, but the PYD brand. There are many other brands on there, but this is the one I decided to get mainly because of their reviews. So it comes with a straw as well. So if you do want to use a straw, it comes with the straw. The packaging is really good in terms of like it stays protected. So that's the tumbler, and it's got like a little opening here and you can put the straw inside. But I don't need this. I'll take off the lid for now because we do not need the lid. And I'll just put it back into the box with the straw. Put that aside for now. Normal measurement, the length. You just get your ruler and measure the length, whether you're using centimeters or inches, but try and get it right from the bottom to the top. This one is about 20 centimeters. That's 20 centimeters. So you can write it down if you're going to forget, and I probably will, so I'm going to write it down. So the length was 20 centimeters. And then to get the width, because everyone's tumblers are a bit different, but if you buy the one I link in the description, you won't have to worry about the length or the width. You can just use what I've used here. And then to get the width, you have to go around with a tape measure to find out what the width is. And this will help you on Cricut Design Space. I like to make the width a bit bigger than what it actually is, just so I can have that overlap. So this is coming up at 24, but I'll probably make it 25 because I don't like it to be too tight. Can you see it's about 24? I might make it 24.5. The width is 24.5. And I'm going to show you how we put this onto Cricut Design Space to make our design. So now on Cricut Design Space, I'm going to set my template up. I'm using a Microsoft Surface laptop, but any laptop, desktop, you can even do it from your phone as long as you've got Cricut Design Space. So I hit on new project, and then I'm going to get this square, just so I'm sharp edge square. And then from here, I'm going to put in my dimensions that we wrote down. So hit on the padlock, and then the width, what we had for the width was 24.5. So that was going across. So 24.5. And then for the length, you're going to put that in. I had 20 centimeters. So 20 centimeters and hit enter. So now here is my template. I like to make it a bit of a lighter color, just so I can see what I'm working with. So a bit of a lighter color, or any color. Let me just put it as blue because my actual one is blue. So there we go. So here is our template. And remember, this is going to wrap around your cup. And I'm going to put in some words on there. So I'm going to show you how we do these words. I'm going to be using the slice feature. So the first part of the word I'm going to put in is mini. M-I-N-I. I'm going to change the font. I want a curvative font. So quick thing on Cricut, if you do want certain types of fonts, they do have this selection here. So you can pick the type of font. So a cursive font. I always say curvative. I don't know why. But a cursive font, I'm going to pick first. So you don't want to pick a font that's too much going on because it's going to be very tricky to read, but just a nice, I just want a nice little font. Sometimes it takes me a bit of time to find one, but I know what I am looking for. Maybe something like this. Let's try this one, coffee shop. And then just click off, and then it should, okay, that one's not bad. I like that one, mini. And I usually try and place it in the middle of my box. If you're not sure where the middle is, you can select here, press Control and select on your box so you can see both layers are highlighted, and go to Align and then Center. So where I want it to be centered horizontally, so that's in the middle now. So if you're not sure, that will be in the middle. And I want some other text to be saying boss. It's going to be going down in capitals. So I want to change the font. I don't want cursive anymore. I want a quite a big font. So go with this one, Cute Chick. It's called. Okay, that one's nice. I want to add boss. So BOSS. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I make it a lot bigger. And then here I go to ungroup. So you can see they're all together. And to ungroup it, you just press this. And now the letters are going to be, oops, don't want to move that. Let me go back onto the letters. They're going to be, I can move them around singly, okay? I can move them around singly because I ungrouped it. And I want them to be in a line. It's quite big here, but I'm still going to put them together because I want them to be all the same size. So I'm not going to make it smaller all at once. And press Control and you can select all the layers you want to select. And then just make it smaller as you go, like that. I want it to be a bit wider, so I'm going to hit on the padlock so I can get it a bit wider as well. I don't mind if it's wide. So it's just down the middle of my cup. Mini boss. You don't want to make it too close to the bottom because sometimes the bottom bit doesn't print as well. So there we go, mini boss. I'm going to make this a bit smaller and make it curved a bit. So when you put your cursor right on the bottom here, you can slant the text how you want to. So I want to slant it like here. Bring that a bit further up. So it's just about manipulating it, playing with it, and so on. I do want to put some like hearts and stars. I do want to put some hearts and stars around it. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be using the slice feature. So the slice feature is this tool at the bottom here, but you can see it's not highlighted. It only can highlight if I have selected something and to highlight it. So what I do now, I get the mini and I get all of this all together and then I hit weld so they can become one. So weld is like if you're welding something together, it will become one. So once you're happy with the placement, because once you press weld, that is it. So I'm pressing weld now and you'll see it's all come as one now. So now what I can do, I can press weld, that slice, that weld result and my square, and I can hit on slice. It's much quicker doing it this way. And then once I've done that, what's happened, it's these words have sliced out of my blue sheet. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So if I move my blue sheet now, you can see those words have sliced out. And what I'm going to do is delete this because I don't need it. We're going to be weeding out these white parts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a few hearts because she did say she wants some hearts and some stars on there. So I'm just going to place them randomly around. So let me just tilt the heart there and duplicate. So it's just a thing of just duplicating and putting them where you want them to go. Okay. And remember, this is the end. So this end will meet this side here. So be very careful when you put your design, because remember, it's not a straight design. So this end will meet that side. So this side will meet that side. So let me put this heart here actually. And then this one here. Just play around with it until you're happy. And then what I usually do, I select all of these. It's much easier when you select all of them on here. So I'm pressing Control just like before and selecting all of them. You can scroll down, just make sure you select all. Make sure they're all selected. Once they're all selected, keep my finger still on Control. My finger still on Control, and then I press Weld just like before. Make sure you're happy with the placement. Now you can see it's welded it all together, which makes it much easier to slice, because when you slice, you can only slice 2 layers. However, there is another function called subtract that is very similar to slicing. You can use a lot more layers, but just for simplicity, I'm showing you the slice feature. So I click on the weld, press Control and click on the blue, and then just like before I press slice. When I move it away, you will see it has cut out there, and I don't need all of this. I'm going to delete that and delete this. Okay, so there's my final template that I'm going to print on my Cricut machine. So I'm going to show you exactly how I print this one, but before I do that, I'm going to save my project. Let me just call it Mini Boss. I'm going to show you how I print it on a Cricut, what Cricut cut settings you use, and we're going to go into the best part, which is using the heat press. So now we're going to make it. So just hit here, make. If you're not sure how to connect your Cricut machine, I have got a video which I will link in the description on how to connect Bluetooth to your Cricut machine. So here we've got our material, your mat. One key thing you need to do with Infusible ink transfer sheet is you've got to mirror your design. So just by pressing here, hit mirror, and there we can see our design has mirrored. Okay, always make sure you do this step and then go on to continue. I have a Cricut Explorer here too. I've set my dial to custom, and then I'm presented with these are my favorite materials that I like to use, but for Infusible ink you can find it under browse or materials. So hit on browse or materials and then just start typing in infuse. I just start with the first couple of letters, and it's here, Infusible ink transfer sheet, and you click on it, and then just at the bottom you say done. I like to do this on more pressure to make sure the cut does go through. You can do a test cut to see how it works with your Cricut machine as well. And here it even says make sure mirror is turned on and the material is ink side up. Just follow exactly as it does here. I'm going to show you anyway how that looks like. So here's the mat that I'm using. This one's from HTV Ron. I will link it in the caption. This is my Infusible ink transfer sheet. So one side you've got your design, the other side you have got where it says transfer paper. So you're going to make sure you put it this way round. Okay, when you buy your transfer paper, just make sure you've got the correct size that you're using. So I'm just going to pull it down right in the corner here. And what you can go in with is a brayer tool. So this tool, this is a brayer tool. I'll link it in the description, just to make sure everything is flat as possible. If you need to add tape, you can add tape, but just make sure it's adhered to your mat perfectly. Then you're going to put it into your Cricut machine. Here's my Cricut. I'm just going to open it up. And it's all ready to go. You can see the light here is flashing. So that means it's ready to go. I'm going to pull it straight in and press the flashing light. And then I'm going to press go here. So once it's complete, the light will flash, take it out. And now we're going to start with the weeding. So you need to think very carefully about what you're taking off. So I'm using this tool here. I really like the hooked version. So firstly, I want to present my box template. So I'm just taking off all of this bit around here. Okay, make sure you've got a bin nearby. Don't be alarmed. The material does feel quite like paper. It's practically like paper. So a few people sometimes do ask, is it meant to feel like paper? Yes, it is. Then you need to remember, we want majority of the background design to stay. So we're just taking out the inner parts. So where the letters are, we're going to take that off because that's going to be white on our cup. And yeah, just take out all the inner parts like this. All the inner parts just like this. Keep on taking them out. Just be careful in case, but this cut setting is perfect. And if you do struggle with Cricut cut settings, I do have an ebook that has got over 20 different materials and all of the cut settings for those materials. Okay, so if you want to make sticker sheets, if you struggle with adhesive vinyl, small fonts, you want to make laminated stickers, it's all in the ebook in terms of what Cricut cut setting to use for different materials. It's mainly HTV sticker paper and adhesive vinyl that I've got in there. So check out the description. It will be there. I've tried and tested all of these because what I've realized, this one's okay. And the Infusible transfer works. However, there are some that do not work. Like adhesive vinyl, that adhesive vinyl setting never works for adhesive vinyl. There's a few ones I tried, such as holographic vinyl on more pressure. That one's perfect. So you can see this one's perfect cut setting. This one matches up, which is great. For me, it's so satisfying weeding these pieces out. Is really, really satisfying for me. I do love it, especially when it works. And now I'm going to take out the mini boss. So don't forget about that part. So it's right here. So be very careful when you're using your tool to not take out anything that is probably required. And this part just flew out here, which I did want to keep. So I'm going to see if I can pull it back in. That's why I said you need to be very careful. But because it's quite sticky, it just stuck back in. And then the dots for the eye. If you need to look back at your design to make sure you're getting the correct pieces out, always do that. Go back onto your computer and look to make sure you haven't forgotten anything. So I think I've got everything. The hearts, the stars, that's all complete. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this off of my mat. And we're going to do a bit of trimming down. We're going to do some cutting. So get some scissors. So remember, this is going to be the top and the bottom. So I like to make it as flush as possible. So I just cut down here, right at the bottom. I just cut down on this bit because this is going to be on our mug and we need to make sure it's got a nice tight seam. So I cut down there, just like that. And then I do the same to the top. So just the bottom and the top to start off with. Cut as close as you can, but without cutting your paper. So there might still be a bit of sticky bit left. But cut as close as you can to the material, just like this. Okay, perfect. And then with these sides, I like to keep a bit of it, but not too much. But I do just cut to have like one square. So about here, it just helps with my seam when I fold it down. Just like that. It doesn't matter if it's not equal. And then you get your tumbler, which I showed you before. Making sure the lid is off, there's nothing inside. You don't have to wash it now. You can wash it later on when you finish this, because it can be hand washed as normal. So this part is the tricky part, which can be quite annoying, okay, if you don't do it well. So can you see that wraps around nicely here? So what I do, I get some tape ready. So my heat transfer tape, this has to be heat resistant tape. I like to just get pieces of my heat resistant tape. I like to get one piece. If you've got a roll, it's better. And I just put it on the side of my table. I know you can't see now, but I put it on the side of my table so I can easily just pick it up, especially for the first couple of pieces. Okay, so just get my tape down on the side of my table. This one I've got from Caesar. I do like this heat resistant tape because it's quite thick. Some of them are very thin, which makes it a bit harder. So what we're going to do here, you need to make sure the bottom and the top are lined up. So you don't want to pull it like all the way down here. You see it's not lined up. So try and line it up as best as possible. As you can see here, line up as best as possible. And you're going to fold it over like this. But you need to be aware, because when this folds over here, if this goes down, it's not going to print. This part here is not going to print. So what I like to do, I just peel it off ever so slightly, like this. It can easily peel off and peel back on again, okay? This is the part where if you have got, and I'll fold this back on itself, if you have got, what's it called? A cup holder. This is where a cup holder will come in perfect. And what I do, I line it up. Very difficult to do without a cup holder, but it's achievable. And then I pull this all the way over to like seal it down. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, my seams aren't lined up, so I need to try and make sure I line up my seams at the bottom, especially at the bottom and the top. Make sure they are lined up, because then, and this is what you do to get the tightest seam possible without no ghosting. And then put that down just like that. You can put a piece of tape there if you want to just like hold it in place. And then I go back around with this, making sure I'm always pulling tight. Okay, then now I put some tape where that's sealed. I keep this transfer tape on. It's heat resistant, so it's fine. Just make sure I seal it. Once that's sealed, what I like to do before I seal the tops, I like to just press that seal with my scraper tool. This allows me to not have any ghosting at all. So press that seal, make sure everything's aligned. Take this piece here, like this, and wrap it around the bottom. As you're wrapping it around the bottom, you're pulling as hard as possible. You're not, you're really pulling. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so that's done. So I'm going to now do the top. What I like to do with the top, I go around with my tape like this, right on the rim, all the way around. I'm pulling tight. I know it might not look like I'm pulling tight, but I'm actually pulling very tight to make sure I get a nice seal. Okay, so now I've got that done. You can see I fold it inwards really tight. Okay, I'm pulling really tight because I want this to be the tightest seal ever. Just pull it all down like this and make sure it's all pressed down nice and firm. Nice and firm. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the bottom, with this side here. Tape, and that's why I love this tape, because some of the tapes are very, so I'm pulling tight as I do this. Pulling very tight as I go all the way around. I don't know if not doing this makes a difference, but I just always do it. I just always do it. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I think it helps to really hold the seals in. Then I just press it down, pulling tight, always pulling tight. Okay, and I love this heat transfer tape because it sticks to everything. It sticks to everything. So there we go. So just make sure everything is in tight. So this is how it's prepped. Okay, you can see my writing on the front there. This is how it's prepped. So now I need to pull it into my tumbler press. So tumbler press is going to be in part 2 of this video. So I will link part 2 in the description and in the comments. This is how we prep it. And I'm going to give a review of the tumbler press as well in part 2. Can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you so much. If this is a video that you do like, please like, comment, subscribe. I am going to be posting videos every Saturday. So every Saturday you'll get a tutorial. If there's a certain tutorial that you want, let me know in the comments so I can make sure that I get that done for you. So let me know in the comments any tutorial that you're thinking, you know what, I want to know how to do that. Let me know. My socials, Cricut Crafts Juliet. Go and follow. I give daily Cricut business tips, Cricut tips, everything crafting. Yeah, be my crafting bestie and join me over on my socials. I will see you in part 2. Bye.